Hello, this is Rob. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about Masterclasses. And I'm sure that you've all seen the advertisements on YouTube of the two prominent EDM artists that are world famous. They're almost household names. And I've taken both of those classes and I thought they were pretty good. So I'm going to start off with that. Then I'm going to move on to the month-long action-oriented classes that you've seen advertised. And I think those are pretty good too. And then we'll move on to more familiar ground, which would be the websites that you create a user account and you can purchase tutorials or you can stream tutorials. And there are quite a few of these websites and they are all really, really excellent ways to learn EDM. I mean, you've got top level artists and a very high level of competency on just about every one of the websites. Then I'm going to move on to the big dogs, okay? The large courses that have a set schedule and require a time commitment of say 2 months or 9 months or a year, and they have a set curriculum that you follow and you build on what you've learned the week before, and it's very broad based. And there's one in particular, one of the schools that everybody knows. I've uncovered one course, a certificate program that I think is really, really good. It's really interesting, and I may even take it at some point in the future. It looks so good. So I think we're going to have a little fun today, and you may learn something, hopefully. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start off with Masterclass here, and the two that I have taken are in the category of music, and I'm sure a lot of you, most of you out there have heard of these two tutorials, Deadmau5 and Armin van Buuren. I've taken both of those, and the main takeaway that I got that I felt was most important was their beliefs, because they're getting into a lot of the technical stuff, but they're not really giving you a comprehensive type exposure to music production per se. And Deadmau5, the main thing I got from him is that you want to have the best quality sounds possible, and that's why he uses a lot of analog, and that the songwriting is really just coming up with something that sounds really good musically, and then you just take a simple basic idea and you build the whole track. And Armin, he is going after the building of emotion and then the big payoff, and he's very instrumental, and he had his studio partner with him, his assistant, and they were both producing a track from scratch, and they got into quite a bit of the technical stuff, and it really kind of revealed Armin's belief about the emotional impact necessary for a good dance track. And he's kind of the visionary, and his assistant is kind of the tech end. But Armin is no slouch when it comes to working in a DAW, which is Logic. He's no slouch himself. So that was the takeaway from the two master classes per se. Okay, and now I want to move on to the kind of the 30-day action-oriented courses. And I want to start off with this one. I don't know how many of you out there have listened to the EDM podcast and listened to interviews of various producers over the years. This is a tutorial called EDM Prod, and it's 30 days and 4 songs, and I believe it's all pretty much in Ableton. And so it's got a lot of testimonials, a lot of people have taken. I don't really know what the price is. I'm not really going to focus too much on price except for the more expensive ones. I believe it's like $279. Today is Valentine's Day, by the way, so happy Valentine's Day. And he's got a sale, so I don't know if I can get this posted in time for you guys to know about it. But anyways, this is a really highly rated course, and I would give a thumbs up just based on the knowledge that he has imparted in his podcast. This kind of gives you the rundown of that. Okay, and so the next company or website that I want to feature is Monthly. And I have not taken any of the music production courses from Monthly, but I did take the Casey Neistat course just recently, which is this one right here on filmmaking and storytelling, which I thought was very excellent. And again, in 30 days, you're not going to get really, really in depth with the technical stuff, but you're going to get into the ideas of how these producers work. And of course, I think you've got Kygo in here. You got a lot of pop songwriting and production classes. You got Kygo, you got more produce hit songs. There's a lot of music production courses in here. This one looks really interesting, this Andrew Huang. He looks like he is a guy who's really on the ball. I might be interested in doing that one. And the price of these, I believe, pretty much are all between $200 and $300. They vary slightly. And I would give a thumbs up. I would recommend these. Although you would need more to get a more broader understanding if you're just starting out. You would need to go beyond just these courses. Okay, and now we are moving on to the tutorial websites. And I'm starting off with the largest and most successful, I believe, and that would be Sonic Academy. I've been a member of Sonic Academy on a quarterly basis. That's what they bill me since I believe 2013, maybe even earlier than that. So almost 10 years. And they are my favorite website. And this is why. They have all of the A-list producers. No one else even comes close. I mean, just look at some of these right here. And they also have, let me click through to this. They have 683 courses, and it's like 1,300 hours. And you earn reward points, and it's 10 quid per month. This is Great Britain, UK prices. I think it works out to me like $50 a quarter, $55 if I remember right. So anyways, you can't really go wrong with Sonic Academy, and the tutorials just cover just about every genre you can think of. You've got trance, you just got everything. I would highly recommend this one. Okay, and the next tutorial website is dancemusicproduction.com. And I started off a long time ago just purchasing tutorials from this guy. And he's a guy who literally wrote the book on producing dance music. That's right, he literally wrote the book. It's called the Dance Music Manual. I think it's in its 3rd or 4th edition right now, and maybe even more than that. And he has just a ton of courses. I think he has like 190 hours, and I think that may be a low figure. What you can do is you can either subscribe. You can do it on a monthly basis. It's in pounds, $19.95 a month with a 3-month minimum plan. You can do it yearly for $199.95 per year. And he has, now if you want to, I'm going to go into buy courses here just to show you what he's got. Got 28 products, and the ones that I really liked were he's got fundamentals, the fundamental series. He's got fundamentals of melody, fundamentals of harmony. He's got, go back even further, he has fundamentals of counterpoint, fundamentals of drum. He has and you can buy them outright, or you can stream all of these. And he's really good. He's a dance music producer from way back, does a lot of ghost producing. His name is Rick Snowman, and I highly recommend this site for sure. dancemusicproduction.com. Okay, the next website that I would like to feature is Production Music Live. Now, these guys are mostly Ableton based, but they've got a lot of tutorials. It just goes on and on. Here's some of their artists that they work with, and they have just a ton of tutorials. They have start to finish, they have walkthroughs, they have on specific topics. They also have, and it's all mixed, here's all their products. They have everything mixed together here. They have sample libraries or sample packs, and they also have their tutorials mixed in here. It just keeps on going. I mean, this is page 10. There's 10 pages of them. I don't know exactly what their totals are, but say for example, here's a start to finish, lo-fi, €67. And they're very high quality. I've watched some of what they do on YouTube. They give little teasers on YouTube, and I would highly recommend that YouTube channel. But I would also, if you want to buy one of their courses or several of their courses, it doesn't look like you can go wrong because they are top shelf. And then there's Kashmir's website called Dharma Studio Worldwide, and you can go to dharmaworldwide.com and check it out. And so you can subscribe for $9.95 a month, and they have a lot of tutorials. Okay, so here are all the tutorials and the lessons of Kashmir. Very sophisticated techniques. Then you have different categories down here. Then this lessons of Dharma is very good, and it just keeps going on and on. I don't know exactly how many. It's not anywhere near as much as Sonic Academy or some others, but what they do have is extremely high quality. These guys really know what they're talking about, and you'll learn a lot of up-to-date techniques and tips and tricks, and it just goes on and on. I highly recommend this one. And so that brings us to Armada University. And they've got a lot of tutorials in here, and they have contests going on all the time. And the courses, I have not watched any of the courses, but as you can see, you've got some really top name artists in here. Ferry Corsten, and this is very trance-oriented, obviously. And so this would definitely be worth checking out. They're available for sale. I don't think there's a subscription model as of yet. Okay, and then there is a website that I've been using since probably like 2006, 2007, and it's macprovideo.com. And they have everything you can think of here. It's not just music production. You have DAW, you have video, you have sound design, you have a lot of stuff going on here. It's not really heavy on the dance music side, but it has just about everything you want to learn how to do in here, from using video editing software to individual plugins, sound design. Here's one on DaVinci Resolve. And they have really good series on Logic Pro and Ableton. It's just very, very in-depth. They do have the subscription model. I believe it's like $14.95 a month. And I would highly recommend this, although it's not really focused on producing dance music. There are some dance music, quite a few actually, dance music tutorials in here. And then there's Groove 3, which is sort of like Mac Pro Video in that they have just a lot of tutorials on a lot of different topics, anything from video production to producing deep house. And I actually got a membership of this given to me for free when I bought an Arturia keyboard, I believe it was, the one right in front of me. And so I've been kind of poking around on this one. They do have some dance music tutorials, and they do have some DAW tutorials. They have quite a bit going on this website, so it's definitely worth checking out. They do have a subscription model, and then they do have an annual price. So check this one out. Okay, now it's time to move on to the big dogs. These are the long form type classes. And I'm starting off with the Hyperbits Masterclass because I took this back in 2016. And it is a very intense, and it is an intermediate to advanced course that will, if you've been producing dance music for a while, it will definitely take it to a higher level, okay? And I was amazed at some of the stuff I learned. It's structured. They cover a different topic every week. They have different modules that you work through. Here's your weeks. I'll just kind of slow scroll through here. It's an 8-week course, and you have 3 weeks of mixing, different aspects of mixing. Then you get into vocal production, you get into a little bit of sound design, and you get writing chord progressions. And this course has been greatly expanded. I don't even know the totals I think it's more than double what it was when I took it, the number of hours of content. And then they also have a lot of live sessions that you get a lifetime access to now. And the price is $29.97. That's just under $3,000, which is, the price is something that's a matter of opinion. So I'm not going to really say if that's too much or too little. It's up to you with what you want to do. But what I will say is that this is very high quality, and I'd highly recommend taking this class, providing that you have been producing dance music and you have a pretty good handle on the process of producing dance music. In other words, maybe you could take some classes from dance music production, get the fundamentals out of the way, and I would highly recommend that. So yeah, but you should have some experience if you're thinking of taking the Hyperbits Masterclass. It's pretty intense, and it's probably even more so now. Okay, and now I want to move on to Berklee Online, which is the Berklee College of Music's online website for online instruction. And you can get all the way up to a bachelor degree if you got the money to do it. It's can be pretty pricey to go that route, and I'm not sure that I would recommend that to everybody. But what I would recommend, I kind of did a little digging, and you take the certificates pathway, and then they have these different courses that you can take here, and they're basically certificates at the end, and you can see some of the prices get up there pretty good because this is Berklee College of Music. So, but this one right here, composing and producing electronic music. So let's click on that, and then you come down here, then you have Ableton Live Fundamentals. So in other words, if you have no experience maybe you would want to kind of jump in and maybe do something like this if you got the bucks. So you start off with Ableton Live, and let's click here, and they give you a little video, and then here's the syllabus, and it's 12 weeks. And each week, this is what you're going to learn each week. All right. And so let's go back to the next module, which is Composing and Producing Electronic Music 1. And what they do is quite interesting. They give you a little video intro here, a guy talking to you for about 5 minutes. Intro to electronic music, and then they start in with drum and bass for 3 weeks, and they get super deep into drum and bass. And then from that they do a week of dub and automation, and then they get into trance for 3 weeks. All of the groove analysis, technical analysis, and then the next week they get into synced delays, parallel, they just get into all of it when it comes to trance, reversing sounds, trance lead synthesis. So they get into everything. They get into sound design, they get into tips and tricks, they get into effects, and then you've got house 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and that's just in module 1. Let's go to Composing and Producing Music 2, and you come down here and you get into techno percussion, 3 weeks of, and then you get into trip hop, glitch, dubstep, and then you get into mixing, and then performance and transition, and then you get into mastering. So this would be a really deep way to go. And once you got out of here, if you wanted to supercharge your career in music and take the Hyperbits Masterclass, that might be one way to go. And so there's a lot of different pathways. The pathway that I went was that I took all of the fundamental courses, pretty much all of them, from dance music production. And then I did a lot of learning on Sonic Academy from other producers. And that was really instrumental. And then after that, I took a few classes from the next school that I'm going to be showing you. Okay, and the next school that I want to talk about is Pyramind. And that's out here in my neck of the woods. It's in San Francisco. I live here in California. And by the way, Berkeley, their main headquarters, I believe, is in Boston, and they have other satellite campuses. They do have in-person teaching at Berkeley and at Pyramind. But this is Pyramind Online, and they've got an artist music producer course, and it's very limited enrollment. And what they do is they have modules that you work your way through, and let me scroll down to them. It's a year. You've got 12 weeks of learning either Ableton or Logic Pro. And you've got 12 weeks of producing, arranging, and songwriting, where you're really going to get into a lot of music theory with Matt Donner, I think is probably the guy who teaches this one. He's really good. I've had a mentoring session with him. And then this is what is really great for anybody who is producing electronic dance music, and that would be sound design. They get very, very deep into sound design, and it's with all of the native instruments synths, which is really all you need, because they have old analog recreations, and they have Reactor, then they have Massive, and then Massive X. So you're really going to get a immersion in sound design for 12 weeks. And each one of these modules, you get a one-on-one coaching session. And then mixing and mastering for 12 weeks. And I believe the price on this one, in fact, they had it up here. New classes just started, so you got some time to contemplate this one. But if you get into Tier 1, which is early sign-up, I guess, $29.95, and then if you decide at the last minute, maybe it's $34.95, but that was the price as of the last class that just started. So, but I have taken classes. Well, I took a 2-day workshop with Seven Skies in San Francisco, and that was absolutely amazing, because I got to see how a producer at his level who has tracks signed with Anjuna Beats and others, and he works with Tiesto and Kashmir, how he thinks about his production process. And he is just fearless. And I think I've said that before on this channel. That was really great. And then I took, at the time, they had a synthesis and sound design class that I took with him that was for, I believe, 6 weeks, 6 or 8 weeks. And that really was great. I mean, my production value took a quantum leap just by being able to interact with David Seven Skies through that course. So they are very, very high quality. This school does not mess around, and they are very serious about teaching you how to do it right. Okay, and this is another one that I don't really know a whole lot about as far as the course is concerned, but I do know about the guy who runs it, and that's Rick Snowman from Dance Music Production. This is another endeavor that he has, an offering. It is called the Electronic Dance Music Boot Camp. In fact, they even have one that's higher than this, and it's like about $8,000. I don't know what the price is on this one. I think this one is 2,000 pounds, but it is really good. It's, if you look through here, what you can expect in all of the modules. In fact, we're going to work down here to the modules. Module 1, Basic Skills Development. There's just a ton of online video content that you go through with this. Developing Groove, Sound Design Elements, and this is a year program. I'm pretty sure it's a year. So you work your way through all these modules, develop, and look how long you spend on drums, sound design elements, then leads, arranging and effects, mixing and mastering, then career options. So it's just really, really good. There it is. That's the price right there. 1,895 pounds. Access to a further 300 plus hours of video. But check this out, audiodevils.com. And the one that we just looked at was the boot camp. And then the other one, the expensive one, was the Masterclass. But this one here is so elaborate that it's really quite all you would need, I would think, especially from the guy who's teaching it. And by the way, this one is 10 months. 10 months is the training length on the boot camp, which that's the longest boot camp I've ever heard about. So this one should be good. Okay, and I wanted to mention one more real quick. It's Point Blank Music School, and they do have a lot of physical campuses all over the world. This one looks the most interesting, Ibiza, and it's similar to, I guess, Pyramind in that they have specific start dates. The Hyperbits Masterclass used to be that way, by the way. They are now, you start as soon as you enroll. But Point Blank Online is, here's what they offer down here, and you can choose whichever one you want. And I'm not, they have so many of them, I didn't really investigate them all. The only reason I wanted to show this was because they have such a presence on YouTube, and they do offer some very highly rated classes. Let's just call it that, okay? Okay, I hope that gives you guys out there a lot of information, a lot of different choices on which, quote, masterclass to take. But I will say that everybody is different, and the path that you take is really up to you. And I would say that if you are working a good job and made good money, that and you have a passion for making this kind of music, that I would go for one of those upper level year-long courses and just see where it takes you. The most important thing to remember is that you can get all the information, and it takes a lot of work. You just have to really do it. You have to open that DAW and start putting projects together like this. And you just have to do it over and over and over to really know it. And that's what I've found. And of course, my last video that I posted kind of illustrates the battle that I go through with having enough time to do it. But yeah, I think that it's perfectly viable for you to, like, for example, go to Dance Music Production and buy some of or stream some of their fundamentals of dance music tutorials, and then kind of get your feet wet with Sonic Academy, and then maybe take one of the more expensive master classes. Once you get a real firm foundation of what dance music is and, the basic understanding of the fundamentals, and then, take one of those master classes. Okay, so I'm going to get on out of here, and all of the links to every one of these classes is posted in the description. So check them all out, and feel free to leave comments. And maybe I forgot a very important school out there, and I'd love to hear about it and your experiences with master classes. So let me know. All right, you guys take care.